getting started, what was the process of forming the band? How did that go?
I was always in a band, and then when I moved to Cedar Falls, I really wanted to start another band, but I had been doing just solo stuff. So I, stalked the UNI music, Instagram accounts, and then I saw Braden and he was holding a guitar in his profile picture, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll just reach out." And then Braden actually knew the other 2, and we all met, the first time. I guess it was super awkward, but I was also just, really nervous. But then, I don't know, I feel like after the first couple practices, we all became friends and felt felt easier.
So you guys all kind of just met over the internet?
Well, I knew Braden since like last summer orientation, and then we had a couple classes together for a semester.
Really said that she met you guys over the internet. Is it did you guys ask her to join, or how did that?
Well,
I had reached out to Braden, and then I asked him if he wanted to join a band and if he knew anybody who would also wanna fill the other roles and join a band.
What was it like coming up with your band name? Like on Spotify, it's your name, Riley. It's Riley Greenwich, but you still have a name. It's Bluff Street. Why is that different?
Yeah, I've always done a lot of solo stuff, so I was just always Riley Jane, um, until we formed the band, and my first initial thought was it was just gonna continue being Riley Jane, and they were just gonna kind of be my band, but then they're just really good at what they do, so I was like, "I think we should just make this a whole new project and work as a unit rather than having, a leader, I guess." The Bluff Street name is the house that I'm in currently right now. It's on Bluff Street, and that's where we, started our practices, so it was, not being used. It was a rental property that wasn't being used our first year together, so it was just literally an empty house other than all of our band stuff, and we practiced here. And then that name just kinda stuck, I think.
When you say Bluff Street, do you mean your house or you mean your college?
The house that we practice in is on Bluff Street.
Okay.
When we first started practicing it, I lived in an apartment, so my family owns, this rental property, and it wasn't being rented out, so we were just using it as a space to practice, but now I am officially moved into Bluff Street, so now it's just technically my house.
How do all your parents and your folks feel about you wanting to go into music?
I've been doing music since I was, 9 or 10, so I've been taking lessons, and I joined my first band when I was 10. But I'm actually graduating after this semester with my bachelor's in social work. So music is very important to me, but it's also just kind of a glorified hobby right now. I take it very seriously, but I'm also, I have other goals for my career, and my college experience is not music related, it's social work.
We can come back to that in a sec, but how about the rest of you? What are your families feel about this?
well, I live in Illinois in the Chicago suburbs. So, especially all summer, I've been driving to and from Iowa a lot. But they're pretty supportive, my family, I guess. Other than me having to borrow my mom's car every once in a while. Um, it's not too bad. Breven?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Apart from the occasional trip to Des Moines where my car almost explodes.
Roadhouse.
Um, we do all right, and my family likes to come out and watch us sometimes, and they don't really feel one way or the other, so that's a good thing.
I really just live with my mom's. She doesn't want it to be a career for me because she doesn't know how lucrative it can possibly be. And I'm not sure I want it to be a career either, but I love playing. It's really almost therapeutic. Same thing with music. I really use it to work through a lot of emotional issues. So, I mean, even if I don't come across making a living off it in the future, I'm definitely going to keep playing drums for probably the rest of my life.
What do you mean emotional issues, if you're okay with me asking?
Oh, I guess just rough breakups and
Okay.
bad times, ups and downs. Really, it's I don't know, a release for me that's healthy instead of just blowing up. I've
What,
been drumming for just the past couple years. It's pretty recent, I guess.
Braden, like, how does like traveling back from like you said Ohio to Des Moines, right?
Illinois.
Illinois. Okay, sorry about that. How does like
Good.
is that like because I'm assuming that's like a big travel in between like at least a few hours. How has that like impacted you?
I've had to take off work a bit. I honestly don't mind. Spent a lot of time driving, especially over the summer. I go to school in Cedar Falls, so I mean, really, it's like no big deal to go to Des Moines.
It's not a pain in the ass
Playlist, I don't
to go
know.
back and forth.
A little bit, but I don't mind it because we play a lot of fun shows. And my
And shit.
girlfriend lives in Iowa.
So that helps, I guess.
That does definitely help.
So Riley, you said something about social work. Like, could you expand on that a little bit? What, like, you don't want to do music exactly for your career, but like, why social work? Like, what's the goal for that?
It's just always been something I have been interested in. So I started taking college courses in high school that were like psychology centered. I just like to help people and talk about feelings and all of that mushy gushy stuff. But it's also just very important for me. I've had my own fair share of mental health issues, so learning more about it and then being able to use my resources and knowledge to help others is really important to me. My end goal is to be a therapist, but like music will always play a very big role in my life as well.
For people who like don't exactly know, like other than therapy, of course, people most likely know what that is. What does a social worker really do?
So many things. They're just very people oriented. Being a therapist has just been my goal. So like my college career track is very therapist centered. But like just this last summer, I had an internship at a mental inpatient facility for teenagers, which is just the craziest thing I think I've ever done ever. But I was kind of like literally being a counselor and helping these children get through their mental health issues and I don't know. I think social work is just a very people oriented.
When people like think of like mental health, they think like, oh, they're psycho, they're out of control. Is that what it's like, or is it like just is it just like helping them with like depression and like schizophrenia, that kind of stuff?
I guess my only experience I've had so far is this internship. I would steer away from the term psycho, but I did like I I worked with a kid who had schizophrenia and I have never, experienced anything like that before, so like learning more about that, but I mean, he was just a normal 15-year-old, but he would talk to himself and get in arguments with people who weren't actually arguing with him, and things like
Yeah.
that. But then it's also just like eating disorders and bullying and depression and a lot of like familial issues. So like people who went through abuse or neglect and but they're just kids, like I was just working with kids. They just had other issues going on as well.
That's what you kind of want to do when you're older in life.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's just start with Braden because he's at the top for me. How did you guys get like into music? Like, was it a push for you? What was that like journey?
Well, I guess I started music when I was like, I started playing the guitar when I was like 9 or 10. My dad also plays guitar and has been in many bands, so I could have like subconsciously been like picking that up. But it just became a passion for me, especially once I got into bands and artists that I really connected with. And I've just been in a couple of bands throughout, you know, the course of my life. So it's something I'm very passionate about. I love music for sure.
When you say like different bands, how many bands have you been in?
And then
Well,
how
me
many
and
bands are you currently in?
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Well, me and Breven are in
Damn.
3, including this one, in the Iowa area, and I'm in one with my dad and some of my other family members, and I'm in another one in Illinois. That's me and my 2 other friends and their brothers.
What's that like? Because like I assume that could be like overtasking if like especially if you have to go like traveling back and forth like all the time. Like what's that like?
It makes life exciting. Um, I I will say planning is like really exhausting. Like planning ahead, like I'll just like let like Riley or Breven be in charge of like, and then keeping track of what all the dates are. And then if I need to figure out if I'm free a day or not, I'll just text one of them and be like, "Hey, do we have a gig this day?" or something like that.
You guys care if I go?
Go for
Yeah,
it.
Breven, go ahead.
So when I was in 5th grade, I saw the movie Back to the Future, and I told myself that someday I'm going to be a guitar player and I'm going to play in a band. And I had a dream from very early on that that was what I wanted to do. And
You're gonna
I'm from a
meet.
small town. What's that?
I was gonna say you're gonna meet an old man and time travel also.
Hopefully that is part of the equation too. That would be awesome. I am from a very small town, so not a lot of bands around looking for help. So I put together my senior year of high school. I think it was my junior year, maybe. This band called Flying Gorilla with my friend Megan, and then we went to UNI after high school and picked up Braden, and that is kind of where my journey went. And through Braden, I met these other guys, and now I am where I am.
How about Julian? What would you say your journey was like?
It was actually like somewhat similar to Brevin's. So growing up, my favorite movie ever was Drumline with Nick Cannon. If you haven't seen it, watch it like right now. Like just leave the meeting and watch it. The main guy, he played snare drum. I'm like, I want to be that guy. He's so cool. He gets all the girls. And it didn't work out like that, but I still played snare drum. And then eventually I kind of branched out into jazz band and then my church's worship band and played the drum set. And then once I went to college, I was like, all right, well, I'm done with this. And I sold my drum set actually. I never thought I was going to play drums again. And like winter break between first and second semester last year, I was sitting at work on the toilet. I'm not even gonna lie, I was just killing time. And I get a text from Braden. It's like, "Hey man, you want to join a band?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You want to play drums for a band?" I'm like, I guess. And here we are.
Could you fill me in?
So-
Like, why did you not want to play drums anymore? Like, you sold it and then you joined
Okay,
the
so
band.
it was mostly just there wasn't opportunities because I was never in a band. One of my closest friends at my high school was also a drummer, and so I couldn't really reach out to anyone because I'm not gonna lie, he was just the better drummer. So I came from a smaller high school, and if they wanted a drummer for the band, they were gonna choose him 10 times out of 10. So when I was thinking of going to college, I was thinking of joining the marching band and playing snare. And to be honest, I just looked at it and I looked at my future career and I said, I'm just not gonna be able to have the time for that and be able to get my studies in and be okay. So I said, I guess it's just something I'll have to put on the back burner and might not do again. We'll see.
What about you, Riley?
Music has just been a really big part of my life, all of my life. I started taking like piano lessons when I was like 7 with this awesome man named Dan Trilk, and then he taught me how to play ukulele and guitar and bass and drums, and he was the one that kind of orchestrated the first band that I was in. And I think just he owns like a music school in the little city of Norwalk. So every musical oriented person was going to him for advice and for lessons. And I think he was a big inspiration for me. And so I think I have a lot to thank to him. And yeah, so I was in a band for my entire middle school and high school life. And then when I moved to college, I had to end that band, but I'm still friends with everybody, obviously. But music was also just a really big coping thing for me, kind of like Julian said, like it was therapeutic and writing songs. I'm terrible at journaling and dealing with my feelings, but I can write a song about it and then get over it. And I think that was always helpful for me.
Why did you get into it when you were younger?
I was just always attracted to music. I think I grew up in the same era as Taylor Swift, so obviously I took a lot of inspiration from her. She started young, and yeah, she really is a very big inspiration for me.
Would you say that's kind of like the root of your sound?
Um, I think she's very pop, and I don't know if I would really classify a lot of the music that I write and make as pop, but I think her songwriting is definitely a huge, inspiring thing for me. I like to write songs, like tell stories. Like she kind of tells her stories, but I think we have more of like an indie-ish, rockish sound, maybe I think I would say.
I'd like to talk about your most recent sound, if that's right. I listened over Spotify and YouTube. I would like your music video. You had, like, not seeing the other ones, but like low quality because they're still pretty good. But this one had like a producer and like you were able to like back yourself up. What was that
Absolutely.
like? How did you produce it? Like, how did that? You know what I'm saying, pretty much.
Right. Well, I was very minorly involved with the UNI radio station, and they were wanting to film some kind of like promo commercial for the radio station, which is just like our college radio station. And I was asked if I could write a song for this commercial. And so I had this melody like saved in my voice recordings for like months. And then I brought it to these guys and asked if they could spice it up and make it sound like an actual song. So they took that and ran with it, and then I had a whole song written, like, with completely different lyrics, but I hated it. I think I showed Braden it, like, twice, and then after I would play it, I would sit there and be like, "I just hate it. Like, I hate everything that I just wrote in this song." So then I think I took the next week and rewrote everything, and then that now we have that, but then they produced it for us, and then they recorded that video. Actually, we had no idea what we were getting into, like, um, we walked in not knowing we were gonna be recorded and, like, it was gonna be a whole high production kinda setup thing, but I mean, it turned out really good and it was really fun, so
So it's pretty much like your college that kind of like helped at least boost it up a notch.
yeah.
Like, are you in the film, like, or when are you in like the film and like media area of that college, or like how did you get them on board?
None of us are, but I had heard about the radio station and I actually, like, was a DJ for the radio station for, like, maybe a week, and then I had a bunch of things happen, so I had to quit, but I kept, like, my connections with them and I would, keep up with the radio station. I just wasn't involved. So they knew like I was in a band and things like that. So they reached back out and then asked us to do that for him.
Even though like the title kind of like, you know, I don't want the boys who don't want me. I understand like that pretty much spells it out what the song is. If you had to like explain to a complete stranger, how would you like explain it?
Um, I have had this issue where I have just these treacherous commitment issues, and when a man starts to like me back, I think that that's gross. So I put all of those feelings into a song, and I have this thing where I am in love with these men that actually want nothing to do with me. And then yeah, so that's what that's about.
How about the rest of you if you have an opinion on it?
I think we had a say in the title. I really rallied for that title. I thought that title was good. Forget what the other ones were though.
We had I Choose Me was gonna be one of them, and then we referred to it and we still refer to it as the radio song because we literally wrote it for the radio station. So, like, on the set list and everything, it's usually radio song.
I was on the radio for like maybe like in my sophomore, maybe a little bit junior year. So like I know like they said you can't swear, you can't say any sexual things. Like so like did that impact like writing the song, or were you completely fine with that?
I mean, I kept that in mind when writing it, and, like, it was for college, so I kind of wanted to keep it, like, school appropriate, but
Yeah, for
otherwise,
sure.
like, I think it sends the message perfectly fine. I didn't feel any disappointment not being able to be a little risque or anything, so
Was it just you, Riley, like writing the song, or did like everybody else just kind of play along?
yeah, I wrote it, but they came up with, like I had, like, one melody, and then they followed that melody, but they definitely put their own spin on it and made it what it is.
What was that spin, you think?
Well, she writes most of her stuff on the ukulele. When she comes to us with a song, we kind of like uh try to fill it out and make it like something different. So I kind of went for like a Green Day kind of guitar part.
Is Green Day like your inspiration, or like that kind of music?
I grew up with them. They were one of my first inspirations on the guitar, so that was kind of where I heard the song going, like in that kind of direction, I guess. Julian and Breven, you got any opinions on your parts?
I will confess right now, I kind of stole the bass part from an Elvis Costello song called "Pump It Up." At the start, the bass goes "Dun, dun, 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 dun." And I took that and I put it in a different key and moved it down the frets when Braden changed the chords. And oh my gosh, it was just like magic. Who knew you could steal something so easily? But I didn't steal it. I just used the same notes, which there's only 12 notes. So
You're a fraud, you're saying.
yeah, I'd say so.
Well, why that song? Is it just because it sounded good in the moment, or why that sound?
I was listening to a lot of Elvis Costello when Riley was working on that song. So naturally, it just kind of like happened. I was playing those scales and stuff like that, and it just like seeped in.
There was no inspiration behind it. It was actually the first song I ever put my own drums to. After that, there are other songs like Tommy and Show that I can put my own spin on, and those have like jazz roots. And I'm pretty sure 3 different fills I do from Tommy is the same fill from a Steve Lacy song. But no, my inspiration is definitely just swing, jazz, bebop stuff for a lot of stuff I play.
So like we talked about like what got you interested. We talked about like basically the beginning part, but like I want to know like what was your first like you every band starts with somewhere and but like what where was that, like what was the first like live or performance like for you guys?
We performed at Harper's, right? That was our
Yeah,
first.
yeah.
So we performed in this tiny little town called Dysart, and it's where my entire family grew up. So we were like family friends with the owners of this restaurant, and then it was pretty much the entire Gingrich clan was our audience. But it was really special for me just because it was my whole family and in the town that I kind of semi grew up through and vicariously grew up in. I was really excited. I think we did a great job. It was really fun. It was also like very long. It was a long show for us, and especially for our first show, we I don't know. It was special because we did all those songs, and then also we kind of learned like which songs the audience liked the best. I think like I remember performing Valerie at the very end of
Yes.
that gig, and like the the praise we got just from that song made that one kind of like really iconic for us. I think like that's a fan favorite that we perform. Um, and then we also got to perform the radio song there, and it wasn't even like named then, and it wasn't done yet. So we like introduced it as the radio song rather than the other title.
And it was like mainly your side of the family pretty much.
It was probably my entire family tree was in that tiny little room.
So like where's Harper's at? Is that like in Cedar Rapids? Or I don't think I've ever heard that.
It's in Dysart, so it's a tiny, tiny little town, like 45 minutes away from Cedar Falls area.
When I was like doing research for you guys' band, it was probably intentional. When you were writing your songs such as like Beverly Marsh and I only want the boys who don't want me. They all felt like as like maybe as like a someone was writing in a diary or something like that. Do you think that's kind of like a vibe you're going for? Or is that like just me?
Yeah, for sure. All of my songs are like written about things that I go through personally, and a lot of the time I will write them to get over a thing. So like if I am sad about something, I'm gonna write about it, and then I'll finish the song, and then I'm like done thinking about it. Like that's how I kind of cope and move on from things.
Have there ever been any songs that like have been like let's say you guys because like I know everybody does this, but like let's say that you like write a song as a band and you really like it, but for some reason you can't do it. Has there ever been any songs like that?
I have written songs before that are like very targeted toward an individual, so I will have fear of playing those in front of that person or having that person like find out. Um like Julian mentioned a song earlier called Tommy. That's an unreleased one, but it is very targeted toward one person. When I had to play that live, that person was in the audience and they knew that that song was about them. So there's just like this gut feeling of like exposing this person or like I also have secondhand embarrassment of myself when the person hears what I think about certain situations. So there's always been that. But I'm also not shy and I if I write a song and I like it, like I don't really care. I'm not gonna not play it, you know. But I will wait it out. I will wait until the time is right.
You're not gonna hide away from like if somebody confronts you, you're not gonna hide away from them really.
Well, I didn't say that. I'll write a song about it. I'm not confrontational, but I'll still write a song about it.
There's one song we did where Breven was on piano, but we've never really played it live because we'd have to bring a piano. Yet.
Yes.
And none of us really want to bring a piano.
We'll make it happen though. It's a good one.
Why piano? Like what? Like the weirdest thing I heard you guys say was kazoo, but like where did piano? Like, does anyone here play the piano?
Riley plays the piano, I play the piano, and I think Braden also plays.
I dabble.
Yeah, Braden cooks on the piano too. But we all like to play some piano, and I said, "Can I play piano on a song?" And Riley's like, "I have a song that you can play piano on," and it fits with the song. It's a cool song, and we just have never played it for anybody.
Is it recorded, or are you guys just played it for yourselves?
We've only played it during practice, but we also just this summer we haven't had a ton of practice time. So I think like once school starts, we'll definitely work up all those unreleased stuff, and especially that song I'm really excited about. So I think the piano on stage is in the near future.
Speaking of like recording, just kind of goes into that pretty well. What's the recording process for you guys?
Well, we've literally only recorded that one song, but Breven, I know you take the reins on this one. I think.
Well, anytime we do demos, I have some gear that I bring, and we can do some pretty basic demos. And we've recorded a few demos of other songs that we want to do, but they have not seen the light of day. But basically, we'll just go to either like Riley's house in Des Moines or something, or I guess this year we'll probably go to Bluff Street house all the time. But or we'll go to my house and we'll just lay down some drums and whatever. We'll lay down the basic tracks of everybody, and then overdub the drums and the bass and everything, which is how they did it at Radio UNI. So I kind of picked it up from that.
I'm just curious. So you said you never they haven't seen the light of day on recording, but like they're over on Spotify and you can see them like on YouTube and stuff. How come? What do you mean by that?
So as a band, I Only Want the Boys Who Don't Want Me. That's the only song we've recorded. Prior to that, I was recording with just like the Riley Jane thing. So I was just with Dan Troke for my album, and then the songs that came before that album, and then Show was recorded at Golden Bear Studios. I am very technologically challenged, so I don't rock with technology at all, and I can't figure it out. And I have all of this like super expensive special equipment, and it's just like collecting dust because I don't know how to use it. So when Breven told me like he knows how to record things, I did a lap. I was so excited. So like I'm very excited for him to help us out and get to record with him, I think.
And that's how he joined the band.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't know that prior, so he has that at least.
You just admitted recording is difficult, but like, do you think recording is easier or playing in front of a crowd is like because there is an emotional stage fright for some people?
I think they're both equally kind of as scary. When I recorded Show, I did it with 28 Days Later, and we did it in one day, but I look up to 28 Days Later very much so. So when you have to record vocals over and over again, and then you have to sit and listen to your raw vocals over and over again in front of these super cool people you grew up with, super vulnerable and embarrassing, and that's almost like psychological torture. But then on stage, I don't get like super bad stage fright, and like that's what I live for, is being on stage and performing. So that's a lot more fun for me, but I don't know if you guys have anything to say on that.
Well, I like adding parts to songs and like hearing it go from just like the band in the room to be like a whole other thing when it's like all produced and stuff. But I don't really care about like the mixing process or any of that. And Brevin's a lot more knowledgeable on all of this than any of us here.
I can just put up with it. Put up with having a bad mix and then putting enough stuff on top of it. It's fun to experiment with different stuff, like get a different result than just recording the band and hearing what the band sounds like on playback. It's like you can add different things to make it unique.
The way you said that, it sounded like dubstep, but I know it's not dubstep.
We have not done any dubstep yet, but
We're working on an album right now.
in
We're
the
working on
near
a dubstep
future,
album right now.
Yeah.
Me and
we'll have an
Breven did
entire
one.
dubstep album for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
this
did.
Like I only have a few more questions, but like one of the things I always ask, I've just learned to start asking it. Are there any funny stories you any of you guys have about like you could be solo as well, but are there any funny stories?
There is something so special about being the only woman in a band with boys that are all younger than you. So there are constant jokes that I make, just being, the senior of the group and the woman. But we all met at Culver's for the first time, so we like to take a nostalgic trip to Culver's a lot of the time. We played at Pride Fest. This is one of my favorite memories, and Breven like flopped all over the floor on stage, and that makes me laugh every time I think about it. We have a lot of inside jokes too. I don't know. You guys take the reins on this.
Jullian was like beating Braden up one time. At least it looked like it. But I don't know how to put that in context.
Yeah, there's no context.
Are you aware of February 26th?
Are you asking me or?
Yeah.
It is a national holiday.
So I never thought I would be one of these people to do this, but I'm editing right now. It's currently 8:34 p.m. and I'm realizing something. I think I'm getting hate crime because I'm stupid. There's an MFR national holiday for everything these days. I'm stupid. All right, back to you.
It's National Slam Your Homeboy Day. All right, so we had practice one day, and Riley had a friend over that day actually, and I'm like, "Hey, Brady, you want to go talk outside real quick?" And everyone in the room thought we were gonna go outside to talk shit about the people that were in the room, like Riley
I
and her
was so
friend.
convinced they
I
were
thought so
going
too, actually.
they were gonna talk shit about me.
And then I walk outside, and I'm not even gonna tell my point of view. We're just gonna tell Breven's. Like Breven just like opens some windows, like, "Why is Jullian sitting on Braden?"
Yeah, I was peeking out the window and I saw something ugly going on.
And I didn't even look. I didn't even look out the window because I just assumed Breven was being dumb. Like he was making some kind of joke that I wasn't gonna get. So I was like, oh whatever, I don't believe him. So I missed it. I didn't even see it happen.
Well,
Braden like walks
did
back
as
in
well.
like 2 minutes later, just covered in dirt.
My
And
mouth
he's
was
bleeding.
bleeding.
Everywhere, blood
His
everywhere.
lip is bleeding.
Unless you have any more stories, I'm all for it. But I was just wondering, like, for anyone like anyone who wants to start a band, what would you say if to anyone like listening or like anyone just wanting to start their own thing?
Just do it as well as you can. Doesn't matter, with whatever equipment you can get your hands on. As long as you just work in that direction of making something that you love, that's all you got to do. And eventually you'll get to where we are.
Something that's helped me improve a lot is listen to a wide variety of music. I listen to everything from jazz to even metal. Recently started listening to a couple country songs, but I'm not going to tell anyone else that.
I'm proud of you.
Me
Whatever.
too.
Oh, and Radiohead. Braden got me listening to Radiohead, sadly.
Yeah, they're a good band.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you Radiohead?
No.
Yeah.
Just do it. I mean, it took one DM in Braden's Instagram DMs for this to happen. So it seems very daunting to try to find people to do this with, but it really was that simple. And we were all strangers when we very first started, but now like these are my besties. So very excited with the connections and the bond that we've created together.
You guys said like some of you, I'm assuming, are like you're out of high school. Most of you are out of high school, right?
Me, Braden, and Breven are sophomores in college, and Riley's graduating.
Wait, you're 18. How is that possible?
Oh, I skipped a grade. I'm the smart one in here.
Oh, okay. But like most of the bands I've talked to, I assume you know Dirty Blonde, Kenset, Serotonin. Am I correct?
Yeah, I have actually had Dirty Blonde back me up, and then we all just became really good friends with Kenset because they opened for us at the Octopus. 2 out of 3 of the bands, Kenset and Dirty Blonde, they're in college already. Serotonin, they're just exiting out of high school pretty much. You might have already said it in the beginning. Riley, you said you want to do social work, maybe a little music, but social work's your main idea. Are you going to continue being a band in the future, or like what's the idea there? I would like to. I would like to do this as long as we're all in the same area. We don't really have any future plans. We're just rolling with the punches right now, I think.
Foreseeable future, I'm going to be in the Cedar Falls area, so like I'm moving down there next summer most likely. So as time goes on, it's just going to be easier to have practice and gigs.
The two Bs. What about you?
Same story as Jullian. I'll be in the
Yeah.
area, you know. We'll be
Yeah.
making moves.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be gigging as long as I can.
All right. Well, if that's pretty much it, thank you guys for coming on. We should do this again maybe in a year or two. And it was cool meeting us. I get this thing where like you get 15 seconds to share out like social. Go.
Bluff Street, clock it. Here's our socials. Oh, here's our socials. That's okay. Email, codes.
Jullian McGinty, Jullian.McGinty on Instagram. I'm a single 6'3" feminist. I drink matcha. I listen to Lana Del Rey and Leifei. That's all I need to say. I don't even need the rest of the time.
Breaven,
Just
go.
mention how to be able to talk.
Breaven on Spotify, Beeven. That's all my solo music. You can hear the billion songs that I've recorded. I think I have some new stuff coming out soon.
Braden.Saban on Instagram. I'll be posting everything I'm doing on my story and stuff. But also Bluff Street. I think it's Bluff Street Band on Instagram. Bagel Steak.
And for anyone wondering, socials are down in the description. And like I said, come back on if you ever feel like it.
Thank
Great.
you.